everyone, and thank you so much for joining today, the Be Visible at Work webinar. I'm so glad to have you here with me, and I want to jump in straight in. So I'm going to start with a quiz, just make sure that we understand exactly what visibility at work is. So I'm going to ask you a question. Is it true or false? Your manager is responsible for your career growth. I'd say it's false. And why is it false? It's false because your manager is not responsible for your career growth. You have it in your own hands. You are the one who needs to make an effort to be seen and to know exactly what you want from your career. Your manager can see potential in you and can invest in it, but your manager is also responsible for other people in your team. And sometimes your manager is too busy to see you. So don't wait for your manager to see you or to delegate you stuff. You need to make sure that you're asking for things so that you create that option, that visibility for yourself at work. So let's go further, and I'm going to ask you this. Is it true or false? Your manager ignores you because he or she doesn't like you. This is a very, very common misconception, because I've seen a lot of people thinking that, they are hated or they're not liked by their manager just because they actually don't get the attention of the manager. So in my opinion, I think that this is false as well. I think that your manager does not ignore you because he or she doesn't like you. He or she ignores you because he or she doesn't know your potential. He or she doesn't see you as being a go-getter, getting the job done. Your manager can't rely on you if he ignores you. It doesn't mean that he has something personal against you. And I'm saying this as a general thing. Of course, there are managers who are weak and they are not good as managers. But in general, managers, if you give them a chance, you can see that if you give them a chance to see your potential, you can see that they want to help you to grow as well. But it's in your hands to make the first step, really. So what about this one? Is it true or false that if someone badmouths you, you should not react? I think this is very common with the way the queen would say that, don't complain, don't explain. If someone says something about them, the royal family will not say anything back. That's very common for them to do. Is it the case for you as well in work? Would you shut up as well? I think it depends on the situation. There are cases where you want to make yourself to correct someone if someone says something about you, or sometimes when you don't have to bother because it's not going to make a change if you react or not. So it's about knowing when to choose your battles. When do you react when someone says something negatively about you, and when do you just ignore it and move on because it's not worth the time? When is it correctly, right? So you came today in this webinar because you want to understand how to make yourself visible at work. So I think that in your experience, you have found out that there are moments when you need to shine, you want to shine at work, and you don't know exactly how to do it. So I just looked around to see who are the best people who would be in this category, people who want to be visible at work. Well, the people who want to be visible at work are the people who really care about their career. They want to do something. They are ambitious. So that's good for professionals that are ambitious, wanting to do a little bit more to be seen for their results. Means that they have results. They are doing something. But that doesn't mean that they are the only one who need to be visible at work. So in my list, I looked at the people who struggle the most in terms of being visible at work, and the first people who would be in this position would be expats. because they are relocating, they have a new life, they're starting a new life. Sometimes they do it by themselves. I've done it 3 times, so I am an expat as well. So I know how hard it is to find a place where to stay, find, well, make new friends. Sometimes there's a culture barrier as well. It can be a language barrier as well. So it's a lot of things to consider as an expat. And when you're changing the job and you're moving to this new culture, new company, new everything, it's good to know exactly how to make yourself visible, because you're leaving behind all your experience and you don't have anything with you. You're not taking much with you. You just take a baggage with you, and that's pretty much it. So I think that expats definitely need a hand when it comes to visibility at work. Another area where it needs improvement is the people who have low performance reviews. They are at the risk of having a very hard conversation with the manager. So they should definitely invest in how to improve the way they are seen at work. It could be a lack of self-confidence. It could be lack of interest as well. There are a lot of factors that can be there. It could be a lack of communication with the manager. Sometimes they're really good at their work, but they are considered as low performing just because they don't speak the same language with the manager, even though they speak both English. Sometimes it's the way when you speak something, it's not about what you speak and the words that you use, it's the way the people who's listening to you understand what you're saying. So I think sometimes low performers can be just in this category as well, which means that they need to make an effort to make themselves visible at work. So I would expect a lot of people to come to this webinar who are low performers. They are at risk at this point. Of course, job seekers, they need to create a little bit of visibility. They need to make some connections. They need to know how to present themselves at interviews. It's really important. I struggled. I remember at the times when I was going for interviews and I had the 2 or 3 interviews that was like maybe low performer in the interview process, just because I was just not so into promoting myself. But when you go for a job, you need to be the person who speaks highly of you. And I do have an experience where I went to an interview and I think I apologized like 10 times just because I was very qualified for the role. Like I was ticking all the boxes. I said, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. And in a way, I thought that I'm going to look arrogant to them, but I didn't. But I was humble saying, I'm sorry, but I actually have the experience. So sometimes I can go against you if you're too ambitious, I guess. But it's interesting very much. Now, recruiters, and here they can be doctors as well, lawyers, people who need to have a little bit of self-image and to be a bit differentiated in their industry. So here would be recruiters, because they are important as a link between an employer and an employee or a job seeker. So the idea of them having a very good credibility in their field is really important, because companies are very keen to make sure that they get the best talent and in the market. So they may double check the recruiters who's going to find that talent for them. So again, recruiters, they need to make sure that they know how to manage this, and a lot of social media for them, and communication, of course. And then sure, you think about managers and senior managers. They need to make sure that they know how to be visible, because they don't only represent themselves, they represent the team as well. And they are at a level where they communicate with senior managers as well, with executives, with clients. It's very important for them to be visible, to know how to make themselves seen, and to make sure that they have that integrity, because they're not only representing themselves, as I said. And now, in my opinion, I think that everyone should make an effort to be visible at work, especially if you're competing for attention, especially if you're in an office and you have to, to maybe have a meeting with a manager, to see your manager, because maybe it's not in the same location. Even remote work is difficult to know how to make yourself visible if you're the only one in the team who's remote. It's complicated, but it's so important for everyone to make an effort really and to be there. Why should others get ahead before you? And I see this is one of the things that I think it's a good motivator for people to start looking into what a personal brand really means. Is because they look around and they see less qualified people who get ahead, and they're left behind because they just don't know how to promote themselves. They don't know how what is it, what is the package of themselves as individuals, what is the value that the manager sees in them. So it's a lot of what who am I really in this. So why would others get ahead and not you? Because they know how to connect with others. So one of the things that they do, they're really, know how to butter up a conversation. Maybe the manager as well, pamper it, the manager a little bit, being a little bit more, how should I say it, attentive to understand the other person. So when you give the other person the microphone and you shut up and listen, you're actually putting a lot of white points on your side, really, because people like to talk about themselves, and when you give them the opportunity to show you a little bit of themselves, it's a good opportunity for them to enjoy you just because they talk about themselves and they enjoy them being on the spot in the spotlight. Another thing that I noticed, and that was a long time ago, is that people who are getting ahead, of course, I noticed that, are the people who really like to think about the work, not only the tasks that they complete. It's not only the results that they have. It's about having a conversation in the kitchen. It's about encouraging a new starter in their new way of doing things. It's about mentoring that new starter. It's about taking over some of the work from someone else. It's about that team player skill that not everyone has it. And it's more about focusing around the team and the well-being in the office rather than getting the job done. So instead of being at your desk all the time, eating there, not looking around, doing nothing really, and doing a very good job, that's great. But it's much better if you're also having a chat with someone, if you're spending some time with them, if you go for drinks and connect with the team as well, or other people in other departments as well. It's more important than you doing a good job. And also when they're doing the job, they're doing it very well. So I mean, at least more than average. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're just focusing on the job, they're getting it done, and that's really enough. So it's a combination of having this fluidity, being in the office, talking to others, and being present in everything that is doing. So if it's a yes attitude, I'm going to do this, yeah, let's do this, even if they don't do it, they're creating less problems, they're more open to collaboration. Yeah, so outgoing as well. It's just that attitude that, yeah, it's positive, really. So that's why they are seen by the manager, and that's why they are taken as examples of people that the company wants to promote, even though your work can be much better and better quality as well as the workload as well. It's just if you don't know how to make your way through your next promotion, you're going to stay where still, which means going backwards, because everyone goes forward, and if you stay still, you're going backwards. Is there anything that they do, the people around you, which are less qualified, less talented than you, that you couldn't do? Really, is it? I don't think it is. They have two hands, two legs, like normal people. Really, I'm not discriminating here. But just saying that I don't think that they have to be a level up in their IQ, or they have to be special with something. Sure, there are special people as well. I'm not saying that they aren't, but there are a lot of people who are at your level and even below, who get ahead because they know how to work this the corporate game, really. So let me talk about so let's change this topic a little bit on my side. So who I am, just a little bit of me, just for you to understand who I am. My name is Delia. I've been working in the banking industry for over 15 years, so that I can look younger saying that it's 15 years. I'm qualified in my area as well. I have an MBA. I have Harvard degrees on my side as well. But I mean, in the banking industry. But for what I do right now, I have the MBA, which is business in general, a PR and marketing diploma as well as coaching. So I really wanted to have these because I think that I was talented enough in this area throughout my career, but I wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything when it comes to my skills in the marketing part of skills branding as well. So, and I am here. Why? Because before the pandemic, I've been in. I've been the person who needed to have that visibility that I was missing. I was in a situation where I had great results. I was working hard, but I was not seen by my manager. And I realized one day in one of our performance review that he saw me as an average person when I knew that I'm more than average. I mean, I knew when I'm looking in the mirror that I'm really awesome, really, at what I do. And I think that there are others as well who really know about the whole experience they have, because it's not only the current role, it's also the experience that you come with, your baggage as well, and you can have achievements there. And even if you discuss those in your interview with when you got the job, usually you kind of match your experience to whatever the job description requires. So that doesn't mean that that's all your experience. And if you're not the person who talks about other achievements, maybe people will not even know who you are. In my case, for instance, they didn't know that I had a management position before I took this job. So, and I took this job which was less than management because I relocated, an expat. And usually expats, a lot of expats get, if they move, now maybe I think now is better, it's not that bad, but back then when I moved, you kind of had to step back when you moved abroad to find a job, really. So it was a different way to find a job. But what I'm saying is that I have a lot of experience in the banking industry where I worked and where I developed myself. And I did, even though I had great results, I always had results. In this case, this manager didn't see me. He was really busy with other people, and he's a human being as well, so he didn't have the time to see my results the way he should have seen them. So I was really pissed. I was really pissed off, and I wanted to prove him that he's wrong. I mean, I was in a position where I felt like I had handcuffs, really. It was like I can't do anything about it. Like this guy doesn't see me. So I had to look into how I can prove him that he's wrong, that I'm actually more capable than he sees. So how can I show him that he doesn't see me? So that's how I looked into personal branding, and I found a lot of books that I did a lot of research in personal branding, and I started to do some exercises to prove my manager that he's wrong. And it worked, because within a month since the performance review, when I realized that he doesn't value me as he should, and when a month after that, he came to me and he apologized. He said that the review was rushed and I really deserved more than he was giving me. And he went out of his way to promote me. Really, like he literally asked me if I want to relocate overseas because we had a vacancy in a location where that would have been a promotion for me and I deserved it. How can a person deserve something a month after just by changing some things in work? It's it's a little bit confusing if you ask me. But the only thing that I did was to do a lot of specific exercises in personal branding to show that visibility to my manager, and it worked. I had really quick results, and I was looking at those exercises. I was like, this is a mind gold, really. I would have paid to get someone to explain to me how I can do this shortcut to get my manager's attention. What does it mean really to build a personal brand? How can I make myself visible and shine at work? Because it's not too complicated. You can take a course, you can take a book on personal branding and just go through that and you can do the exercises. Not all of them work though, in my experience, but yeah, and it's a lot of in books, it's a lot of knowledge that you don't necessarily need. So it's the long way if you want to get there to have results. For me, it was, and you have to have the same determination that I had to make myself to be visible. If you only want to be visible in general and you want to know exactly how to get there, to have the guideline, I don't know if a book is going to help you. You need someone to actually hold your hand, because you're not going to do it. I have a lot of books that I started and I didn't finish them just because, very excited when I buy it, and then it takes another week until it comes, and then it's like, okay, I'll read it tomorrow, and so on. So if it's not something that really burns in you, that desire that I had to prove my manager that he's wrong, and to do those exercises, and some of the exercises are not very nice because sometimes we don't like to look at the negativity that we have in us. So to do those exercises by yourself, it's an effort. I have to say it's an effort. But with someone to help you, it's much easier, and you're going to do them. So what I'm saying is that there are a lot of exercises that can work pretty fast to get quick results. And if it takes you a month to go from being average to being very appreciated and recognized by a manager, would you not want to do that? I mean, just to change your life in a month, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. But it's enough about me. I want to focus on something that is really specific to what visibility at work really means. So visibility at work is really that intentional effort that you do to make others to see you and to have that impact, that when you speak, someone is listening to you. You have that impact when you're entering a room, that people notice you. And if you leave the room, people are not going to speak badly about you. So it's really important to make that change, and for this to happen, you need to make some changes. So I wanted to show you the definition of personal branding, because visibility at work or personal branding is really the same thing. It's really about what you do to change the way you are seen by others. So let me read you what you already see on the screen anyway. So personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, very important, elevating their credibility, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their career, widen their circle of influence, and have a larger impact. So you want to make it a conscious and intentional effort, personal branding. So it's really you taking measures that will move you from where you are today to who you want to become, who you want to be seen as. So for instance, if you are, let's say, an accountant, and you're just boring in terms of doing your job, doing nothing else, and you're just there taking a salary and go home, yeah, sure. Yeah, if that's your dream in life, I don't want to judge, but you can be that accountant who is respected at work, who people come to for advice, who mentors others, who is, the manager wants that accountant to present to the team a change that is happening, or to present to the client, be the point of contact for clients, because he's really good at the job. He has the authority. I mean, when he talks, he has that knowledge that makes them an authority. Credibility as well, because he had so many results that will push his results as being credible. No one is going to double check him, and if they do, that's just a waste of time, because he's going to do the role very well. Differentiating, so he's standing out as different from his competition, his even peers and colleagues and even manager. And what it does, in essence, is going to make that impact that the accountant has when he speaks. So when he speaks, everyone listens. Maybe they want him to present something in front of the company, or maybe he is going to go and be the speaker for an event. You can go through that as a in-person branding as well. You can write books if you want to. You can post on social media if you want to. You don't have to, but if that's something that you can do, yeah, why not? And you enjoy it, why not? It's a lot of opportunity. But the idea of it is that you are the person who consciously and intentionally want to manipulate the way you are seen. So if you know who you are today and know how you're seen today, think about who do you want to be seen as. if there was a way for you to become famous tomorrow, who would you want you to become? What will they write about you tomorrow, right? So you need to make sure that you understand that you are very valuable and you can stand out, but you need to filter out how you stand out. Do you even know what's your competitive advantage as an individual, as a professional? Because if you don't, you need to have someone to help you discover that. Do you have a purpose in your career? Do you have people you count on? If you leave the room, are you 100% sure that they're not going to trash you in your absence? It's important to look after these things. You have to make the conscious and intentional efforts to change that perception of you. So you need to make a change. You need to be the person. You need to make the change to have different results, as it is in change, as definition of change anyway, right? So I just wanted to put this definition here because I think it's really important. Now, let's talk about visibility at work. If you hear something, just let me know that my dog is dancing. I don't know what he's doing. No, he's resting now, but he's moving around. So visibility at work. Yeah, it's a lot to talk about this topic. It's very interesting and I'm really passionate about it. But I think that I can relate to a lot of people why they would want to make this change and to be visible at work. Now, I remember when I was angry with my manager ignoring my great results. So how is it when you have amazing results and your manager ignores you? He doesn't even see you. It's bad. I have to say that is bad because that negative feeling that you have is just it's just so intense and doesn't go away. Or my self-confidence was so low even when the results showing that I'm doing a great job. So just because you're doing a very good job and you have those results and you see that no one is noticing you, obviously you think, well, maybe I'm not that good, so it gives you a lot of negative thoughts about who you are, and that's really when it jumps into your self-confidence, it's not good. It's going to affect you. So that's why it's good to know how to make yourself seen and to be recognized for the efforts, especially when you have the results. If you don't have the results, no one sees you. I mean, you can get why that happens, but when you do have results and you feel like no one's recognizing them, yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? And I think what was the worst was that I was so disappointed because in my head, and I think there are a lot of others as well, I see that in my clients, they think, and I thought that my manager is responsible for my growth. Like he, as a teacher, should see the potential in me and he should delegate and to have a plan for me to grow and to blossom at work and make my life easier. Well, it's not the case, and I'm not saying that they're not managers like that. I used to be a manager just like that I will scan the people around me just to see what they can do so I can improve their strengths. But not everyone is like that. And when you're really busy, even if your intentions are very good, you don't have the time to do that. And sometimes you don't even have the person who wants to make those changes or to propose them or to be inclined to make those changes. Sometimes when someone, if your manager, and I saw that a lot with my colleagues and with my clients as well, if your manager gives you something else, delegates something to you, it's like, oh, another thing on my desk, another thing on my to-do list. Instead of them appreciating that, it's a way for them to be validated by the manager, because if your manager delegates something to you, it means that they think that they can rely on you, or they test to see if they can rely on you. So, you don't have to expect for the manager to give you, but even when they do, we don't take it as a good thing, So it's about the attitude that you have and the way you can grow and, see the efforts around you as being good for your career, which is why you should take it in your own hands and make your own luck. It means that you shouldn't be disappointed, as I was, when your manager doesn't invest in your growth. If you're the same for your manager as a number, it's not good. And if you don't do anything about it, it's going to be the same. So what you have to do is actually to create a plan of action and action. So that's what you have to do. And I talk a lot about visibility at work. I do. I talk a lot about that, really. And why is it needed to be visible at work? Well, the first thing is that most likely it's your only source of income. If you have one job, which is your 9 to 5 every day, that's your source of income. If you don't invest in that, you have three possibilities. You can lose it, you can keep it, or you can improve it. Which one would you like? Because you can lose it is the easiest. You can keep it, would mean to be the way you are, but also with a lot of layoffs and everything that's happening, that's not really secure. It's not a secure job. Nothing is today anyway. And to improve it, you need to make some outstanding things for your manager to notice you. Even if you have great results, I used to have great results all the time. And because you have great results all the time, they expect great results from you. So if you want to have a salary increase, you need to do a lot of great outstanding things, and you need to know how to communicate with your manager, because you don't want to go to your manager and say, listen, I want a 20% increase on my salary because I have great results. And that if that's a shock for your manager, they will say, you don't deserve that. But when you go to your manager and say, in a year's time, my value as an employee should be a 20% salary increase. Let's work it out now so that in a year's time I can have that salary increase. How can I do that? How can you help me to get there? Can you help me to get there? So when you change the way your attitude and the way you ask your manager for those, and then it's going to come back to you in a better way. And then it's not only that you told your manager and he's aware, she is aware of you wanted to grow. It's also kind of part of your growth as well, because you're going to go for advice and you're going to get them as on your side to get that salary increase if you tick the boxes that they want. So it's not a bad thing. But visibility at work should mainly be focused on the fact that you want to secure your source of income. The second thing is that your salary, or your career is what you did in school. And I know there are a lot of people who went to school, got a diploma for the sake of their parents' comments, and or just to get a job, and they ended in a different area. That was my case as well. So for me, it wasn't me choosing this career, the career chose me. But usually people go to school, or they invest a lot of time. It doesn't have to be school, so because today is not necessarily a must to have a diploma to get a job, but you're investing time and experience to build that experience in an area where you develop those skills, and you want to be proud of those skills. So wouldn't it be great that whatever it is you went to school, or if you didn't go to school, to have those skills that you developed in time, and you got a lot of achievements that prove that you're very good at what you do, to be seen by others as well, to be credible in your field, to be the expert everyone wants to validate their ideas with. Wouldn't it be nice to be appreciated and recognized for your input? Wouldn't it be nice for people to value your presence there and not be invisible when you go in and out of the door? I mean, when you go to school and you develop those skills, it's what makes you different from your parents, family, friends, because your friends can work in something else, and this is your area, this is your thing. So here you need to spend, here meaning your career, you need to spend some time to make sure that you improve it, and you do that with visibility. You do that by a calculated guidance or plan to get there. And of course, the other thing is that, and it's kind of related to what I just discussed, is that you want to keep your brain sane. So you want to make sure that you're investing in your connections and people, the network, people at work that are people, not only that you're enjoying your job more because you are surrounded by people like you, people that make your the time that you work, the time that you spend at work more enjoyable, but it's also that you keep your brain active. You're learning something new, you're meeting new people, geniuses in your field, you're connecting with others, you're changing ideas, you're brainstorming. It's really interesting. It's not like you go to work those 8 hours a day just to look at the clock and say, I have 3 hours to go home, 2 hours, 15 minutes, and it's 5 o'clock, I'm gone. I'm not saying that you have to do overtime, but if you waste that time looking at the clock instead of you investing that time to do something that you enjoy, and when you look at the time and say, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock already, it's like, I can't believe that the time flies when I'm enjoying doing something. Wouldn't it be that nice? But well, to get you to enjoy that thing, you need to know who you are. You need to know what makes you enjoy that thing. So it's, if you know, you know, but if you're watching the clock every 10 minutes, you don't know for sure. I have an exercise for you, which is one of the exercises that I do in my workshops with my clients. And it's really about, it's going to help you to boost a little bit of your confidence at work and that visibility. And I want you to see how easy it is to make people tag you with some words. So my example is going to be cheese. I use this example in my courses as well because it's easy to understand. But values is really the exercise in real life. So if you don't know me, I don't know you. So if we have a conversation, I say, oh, I am a big cheese lover. And then we talk about something else, or maybe the cheese, examples of cheese, whatever experience there. We meet again and say, oh my God, so what are you doing this weekend, Delia? Well, this weekend, I'm going to a farmer's market because there's a stand of cheese, or it's a cheese weekend. There are lots of farmers coming with cheeses, and I'm going to try them all. So on Monday, I might not even come to work because I'm going to be so full of cheese. I'm going to look like a cheese, I'm going to be a block of cheese. So I'm telling you about cheese again and again in conversations where it's normal for me to do that. So I'm not going to say cheese instead of good morning. I mean, you have to be subtle as well. But if after a month, that person you had, so you, in this case, you and I having a conversation, if you go to a farmer's market and you see a type of cheese, so let's say blue cheese as an example, would you think of me? Because we already had at least 2 conversations where I mentioned cheese. You say cheese, kind of like cheese is Delia's thing, and you kind of tag me with that word. I'm not going to say yes or no. I am going to dare you to try this in real time, in real life, really. And I want you next week in work to try to incorporate. You can put the cheese example if you want to. In real life, we usually actually use our values, but I want you to see if that's going to work in real life, because this is a very good exercise on how to promote yourself to others using words that you want them to use when they describe you. This is important. You can tell people what words to use when they describe you. And this is the trickiest, the easiest trick that you can use is exactly this. So the exercise for you, and I want your feedback if you try it, and I want you to try it, because if you don't change anything, you're not going to move forward, so you're going to move backwards, not standing still. So the exercise is for you for next week. Try to incorporate your values in your work, and I want you to use the cheese example. We could use, other words, but I want you to go from this level. So go to the office, say, or if you like something else, not cheese. I don't necessarily want people to associate you with cheese if you don't like it. So find something else, maybe not alcohol. Well, depending on where you live, it's not necessarily good for everyone to use it. So something chocolate maybe, or something else. And you can use this in 2 or 3 times in a week with kind of the same people. You don't have to say it too often, but just enough for people to notice it. So it's visible enough when you say it so that they can remember, they can associate cheese with you, chocolate, whatever you want to work with. Do that. And then after a week, I want you to come back to me, send me a message on LinkedIn and tell me if this worked for you. because I guarantee you that is going to work. And when you're going to see how easy it is to influence others, you're going to come back to me and you're going to want more than what I'm saying here. Or at least you're going to trust that what I'm saying here is really true. So come back to me on that. I am very happy because I used to do that a lot and I still do it. And it's really funny because it works. So that's one of the exercises from those books that I read or that worked. And it took me a long time to see it working because you do it now and then, and you have to do it again and do it again. And then it's when you see that it's working, when others validated it for you from different angles. Okay, so let's look at the most mistakes that people do when it comes to visibility at work. So let's start with mistake number one is when you don't promote yourself. Everyone does it. It's that thing that, oh, I'm humble, modest, and I don't want to speak about myself. I can promote you if you want to, but about me, I don't like to kiss the backside of someone just to, have a little bit of attention. I used to see that in work as well. I used to see that in my family as well. So I had to push people to get what they wanted by knowing how to not do this. So this is a mistake. You need to make sure that you can promote yourself. So how do you promote yourself? Well, it's when you find out what you're proud of. It's when you will go and tell people about you. So you have to believe in your abilities, as I said there. But what I say is that consider that you won the lottery, not lottery. You got the interview of your dreams. What do? Calling your friend, Mom, Dad, I got a job. I got the test. I don't know. I entered the college and I wanted to. Whatever it is, I won. Whatever, you're so proud of your achievement that you want to share it with others. That's the idea of it. So here, when you don't want to promote yourself, it's just you need to focus on building that self-confidence that you can tell people about you because you're amazing. So why wouldn't you tell them? So here is a part that you have to work on, which is you need to promote yourself. No one's going to do it. You don't have ads, in the office. And you have to, especially if you're in the office where you have to compete with others, it's good for you to make sure that you know how to present yourself. So that's mistake number one. Now, the second mistake is about networking, and I am guilty of all of them because I hated to go out for drinks with my team or to spend more time than 8 hours a day. I thought that it's enough. I had enough of them. Maybe I didn't like them very much. I don't know. I was just not connected with them, I guess. So that's probably why I had to even build the visibility at work. So mistake number two, networking. Not going out for drinks with colleagues, always finding a reason not to go, not going for, whatever, if they're playing together, doing some games, whatever, you don't go to them, you don't go to team buildings. I am very guilty of that. So I would just, I would go for drinks out, but not with my colleagues. So not including others in your successes. So sometimes when you can include others just to flatter them a little bit, include them as part of the networking, you don't do that. So that's a part of the networking mistake. And not encouraging others to talk about you. So if someone says, "Oh, Delia, you did great at that," you say, "Oh no, it was a team effort." It's just, "No, I didn't do it." It's like, "Oh, it was a mistake." Someone is, I have neighbors that are very loud today, I guess. So mistake number two is not knowing how to network, not knowing how to put yourself out there, not being outgoing enough, I guess, to think that it's good to do it. And you have to do it because you do the same thing networking. You do it with your friends and family. You have to see them socializing. So networking in the office is really important if you want to be visible. You need to be with them so that they count you there. When you go, even if you go for drinks and you go there for an hour, you want to be present. He says, "Oh, she didn't come. He's not coming today." We are used to him not coming. Nah, because you isolate yourself from the others and you don't want to do that. So this is mistake number two. And I have another mistake for you. Just have three as numbers. And this is really about reputation. So reputation is a biggie when it comes to how you are seen by others. So reputation management means that you know how to react if people say things about you. They can say negative things about you, they can say positive things about you, and you need to know how to react. Should you react? Should you not react? It depends on the situation. There's some, limits where you could, ignore it, but there are moments when you have to know how to react. And when someone says something about you in real time and you don't know how to react and you're not aware of how to work this reputation management thing, you're going to be in shock. And you're going to be the person who, a day or two after the thing happened, you're going to say, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have said that. When it's over, well, you're late to the party. Hello, you should have said that 2 days ago. Now it's too late. So reputation management looks at how to be prepared for that. And one of the examples I just wrote recently on LinkedIn is when you mess up in work and you have to tell your manager that, something happened, you mess up. It's the first time when you mess up, so you're not necessarily used to it. And you go to your manager and say, oh my God, this happened, and he's calm, or he, I'm saying he as general, okay? He's calm, he's asking you questions, he's not overreacting. Why do you think he does that? Because he's used to it, okay? So management awareness is more about practicing these. So reputation is really important because that's the whole visibility and how you want to be perceived by people, right? So you need to know very well how to react if people tell things that can put you in a bad situation. So that's the mistake number 3, not knowing how to look after your image. Okay, so I am very excited. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this topic because it's really so important when you get the results. Maybe not important necessarily when you see that, oh yes, personal branding, visibility at work. But when you do the exercises that I did and worked and my clients do or did, you can see that transformational journey happening so fast that is like, oh my God, mind-blowing, really. So I want to talk to you about the workshop that I'm going to have between the 9th and the 11th of December. It's a live workshop. So it means that we have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evening where we spend the time together to do all those exercises that I was talking about. There are 5 chapters that we do, and we cover everything that I discussed today and more. We look at how to understand who you are so that you are credible and you're proud of yourself. It's really important. We have 3 exercises there. Then we look at social media, how to promote ourselves on social media, LinkedIn, okay? Then we look at networking, which means how to connect with others and who should we connect with, because it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And how do you connect with others? You don't just go and say connection requests on LinkedIn and that's it. That's not a connection, okay? You need to work on that. You need to nurture it. You need to get to face-to-face, and you need to get to the point where those connections are your brand ambassadors. So that's what we do in the workshop. Then we look at how to be visible in terms of being Magic. I'm talking 5 minutes, okay? Sorry, that's my dog. How to be visible. Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? Yeah, okay. So let me say hi. Hi. Sorry, that's my dog. Okay. Yes, so the 4th chapter of 5 is called Stand Out. And here we look at how to find your competitive advantage. What is it that you're different than your colleagues? How to become an expert in your field, which means being more than average. Just be outstanding, right? And how to know how to enjoy your life, your work, your 8 hours a day, a little bit more than you would if you don't know how to do this with me. And the last chapter looks at exactly this, reputation management. We have 4 things that we cover there. And we look at if we need to react or if we don't need to react to things. And we want to build that awareness. It's like that fire drill that you do when you're in a building and you have to, if you hear the alarm going, you leave everything behind, you leave the building, you go to a safe place, and you time how long it took for the whole building to be evacuated. And you do that a few times. Why you do it? In case it happens, to be able to get out safely, right? So reputation management looks at something similar in terms of making sure that you know how to react if something goes bad, because it's going to go bad. If you don't have that experience, I have experience there. So follow me on LinkedIn, because you're going to find I'm sharing from my experience as well. And some of them are really interesting stories. So as I said, the Be Visible at Work workshop is going to be available from the 9th to 11th of December. It's a live workshop, 3 days, and we're going to look at exactly these 5 chapters. We're going to try to understand exactly how to build that visibility at work, because it's a long process. You can't wear pink and get my attention. You need to make sure that you're consistent. But the advantage is that you do it in a live workshop with me and with others like you. So it's a classroom of people who want to do the same thing. And when you do the exercise with others, you learn from them as well. You change ideas. It's really interesting. So you should come and see how it is. It's just so good. And what you do, you understand the foundation of being visible at work. What does it really mean? What does it really take for me to be visible and to be, to shine at work, to be in control of my image, to know how to control the way my story is told. That's really important and valuable, I guess. And as I said, it's a live environment. You can do it with us. And also you have 2 things that I'm going to offer. The first one is 5 follow-up emails to keep you focused. So what these emails are really micro tasks. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know that micro tasks are short-term tasks that focus on developing some skills. So in these 5 follow-up emails, you're going to have 1 per week, 1 for each chapter. So I'm going to remind you that you need to do this exercises to see the results. So that's a very good bonus to have. And the other one is after you do all those things in your real life, so maybe after a month, you come and have a free call with me. It's actually an hour-long call with me. So we can look exactly where you are since you started and where you are there. So we kind of know exactly how you developed yourself, if you need something else. So that's really free. And it's included if you want to do that with me. We can even look at a plan for the next 12 months of career. That's another product that I have, which is really expensive, but we can be flexible on that and see what we can do. If you are interested in this workshop, really. So I'm going to offer you 50% off the course. It's actually more than 50%. It's actually not that code. Oopsie, let me go back. So this is not live. I'm going to send you the details in the event from LinkedIn with the correct link and with the discount code, because this is not the one that I have. The course the live workshop costs $6.99. And we have the micro tasks that are $249, and the one-to-one with me for an hour, which is $200. So this with 50% of it's more than 50% off, really, because the code gives you the place for the workshop for 300 euro. So it's really €100 per session, and it's really going to change your life. And it's really you have to invest money if you want to see a change. So if you really want to make a difference in your career, you have to change something. And I think that this is really a good way to start. I'm sorry for this slide. I apologize. I'm going to send you individually for everyone who is in the meeting, in the class today. The correct link has to have a 24 in the link, and does say that. And the correct coupon if you are interested. This is going to be available for 24 hours. So today is Friday. So it's going to be until tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. 8 o'clock p.m. so that you can have access to it, and you can buy it yourself there, and you can get ready for the course in December. And on the 1st of December, I'm going to send you a bonus where you have to have some insights for what we're going to cover there, so that you can prep for it. So it's going to be a micro task for you to actually get ready for the workshop. So this is it. The time is off. It's running out, and we are ready to stop here. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and be here with me today. I really appreciate it. I really hope that you got some insights about what is it to be visible at work. There's a lot to say, and in my course, we cover a lot, and they're so interesting stories. So that people say really in the workshop. So it will be really nice to be part of it. So if you are interested, I'm going to send you the link where you can have the correct link and the correct coupon code. So that is going to be €300 for the workshop, which I think is very good. And I think it's a very good Christmas present for you to do it in December, so that in January, when you start coming back to normal in your job, you can already apply that. So I hope that I'll see you as part of my new students for the workshop in December. And as I said, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. And I hope that this helped you a little bit more with what you thought that visibility at work really means. I want to wish you a very well weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.